Welcome to our final lesson of Chapter 7, Writing Chemical Equations. What have you learned so far? You have learned that a reaction can occur. Example, carbon solid reacts with oxygen gas to form carbon dioxide gas. So this is a reaction that may happen. And you have learned step 1 how to write the word equation. So in this case, the word equation will just be carbon plus oxygen or oxygen gas, arrow, carbon dioxide gas. So the first thing you have learned is to write word equations. The second thing you have learned is how to write a balanced chemical equation. So first you have to write the chemical formulas, where C stands for carbon, O2 stands for oxygen, CO2 stands for carbon dioxide. Then you count and balance them. So this equation is already balanced. Next, number 3, you have learned how to write the balanced chemical equation with state symbols. So in this case, solid is S, gas is G, so that's where you get this equation. Today's objective of the lesson is that you will be able to write ionic equations. For ionic equations, it can be a bit more challenging. This is seldom tested, but it is still for your information to learn. So today's lesson will require you to complete lesson notes page 14 to 15 as well as worksheet 3. Let's turn to your lesson notes page 14 to 15. Lesson notes page 14. Okay, if you are ready, please fill up the blanks. The first blank is the word spectator. The second blank is the word ions. The whole idea in this page is just to let you know that your final equation will have ions in aqueous state. So we'll take a look at how to do this step by step in the following slides. Lesson notes page 15. This example. So when they give you a reaction, what do we do? The first step is we write the chemical equation. So to make things a bit faster, the chemical equation is given to you here. Please copy it down. The state symbols are also written. So usually the state symbols will be given to you in the question if you are required to write ionic equations. Now, after that, this is the part where you need to learn. This is where you need to write ions. So how do we write the ions form? Ions is only formed for those in aqueous state. So if you see, zinc is solid state. You simply write zinc solid. It remains the same. Then you put the plus sign. Then if you see, CuSO4 is in aqueous state. So here, anything that is aqueous, you must put them into ions. So copper, in this case, is Cu2+. So you put Aq. Then you break it up and you put a plus sign. This is sulfate. So you put the sulfate ion in aqueous state. Then you move on to put the arrow. Then for zinc sulfate here, you can also see it's aqueous. So you need to break it up into ions. So Zn2+ equals plus sulfate ion equals. For the last one, it is solid state. Copper is in solid state. So just complete and remain the same. Okay, so we will guide you along forming of ions. Next, once this is done, you need to cancel out what you see on the left and on the right, which is the same. So if you look at it, The only thing that is the same on the left and right is your sulfate ion. So we cancel them out. These do not take part in the reaction. So now what is our final equation? Our final ionic equation is this. Okay, so please copy all this down. For this example, first step, write the chemical equation. This is usually given to you if you are required to write the ionic equation. Second step, write down the ions. And final step, write down the ionic equation. The most important point you need to know is only those in aqueous state are written in ions. And then we cancel out what's on the same and the left and the right. Okay, if you need time, you can pause the video here to copy everything down and take a good look at this example. We will move on to the next question once you are ready. So the next question, again, to make things simpler, chemical equation will be written for you. This is the balanced chemical equation. You can copy this down. Then we start by writing the ions. So we only need to write those in aqueous state. Here there's a number 2 in front, so we need to know that there is 2 sodium as well as 2 hydroxide ions. So we'll split this sodium hydroxide up. So we have 2 sodium ion plus 2 hydroxide ion because they are in aqueous state. For the next one, solid, no need to split up, remains the same, arrow. Next one, solids, remains the same. Here, aqueous, we need to write down the ions. Okay, so we have 2 sodium ion and 2 chloride ion. Now, look at what is the same on the left and what is the same on the right. We cancel that out. So if you look closely, it's the sodium ion that is the same on the left and right. Therefore, this is our ionic equation. So therefore, the ionic equation is this. This will be your final answer. Okay, so again, if you'd like to pause here to take a look at how all the ions are formed and how the ionic equation is achieved, you can pause the video here. Okay, once you are done and ready, we will move on to worksheet 3. So please have worksheet 3 in front of you. Okay, worksheet 3, it says write the following chemical equations as ionic equations, include state symbols. So usually this is the case. You'll be given a chemical equation with the state symbols and its balance. All you need to do is split the aqueous, those in aqueous state into ions. You could try on your own or you could follow step by step, since ionic equations are a bit more challenging and they are not tested very often. So KOHAQ, the ion will be K plus aqueous. And then we have hydroxide, aqueous, and HCl is in aqueous, so we got to break it up as well. So we get H plus and Cl minus. We put an arrow. We have KCl aqueous, so we break it up. Water is liquid, so there's no need. Okay, then you compare and see what are the ions that are the same on the left and right. You cancel them. Okay, so copy this down and you try. Cancel the ions that are the same on the left and right. So if you compare, let's see if you cancel this. This is the ones you should have cancelled. Okay, so now after cancelling, can you write the ionic equation? Okay, pause the video here to write the ionic equation. After that, check your answer. Okay, you can press play to check your answer. So the ionic equation is this. So this is your answer for question 1. Okay, you can pause here if you want to take a look at all the steps again to see how you get your answer. If you're done with question 1, then you can move to question 2. So this is question 2. So the chemical equation is written for you. So first step, this is aqueous, so we break it up into this and this. So we have sodium and bromide ions. Chlorine is a gas, no need. So just copy it down. Arrow. Aqueous, so we break it up into sodium ion. Okay, so you get chloride ion, and then bromine liquid, just leave it. So now you try, cancel the ions that are the same on the left and on the right. Okay, you can pause, cancel it, and then check if you got the correct answer. So press play once you want to check. So you should have cancelled this. Then write your ionic equation. Again, you can pause, write the equation down, and check your answer. You can press play when you want to check your answer. So this is the ionic equation for question 2. Last question, question 3. Again, we split up those that is in aqueous. So this one, you will have calcium ion and hydroxide ion. This one, you have hydrogen ion, 2H+, and you have sulfate ion, aqueous. On this side, solid and liquid, so it remains the same. So if you look, are there any ions that are the same on the left and on the right to cancel? The answer is no, because on the right there is nothing in aqueous, there are no ions. Therefore, your ionic equation is simply the same thing. So you could pause the video here to copy down the ionic equation that is the same thing with the ions. Once you are done, you can continue and press play. So, what is the conclusion of this chapter? This chapter, you have learned that to write the word equation, you have learned to write the balanced chemical equation, you have learned to write the balanced chemical equation with state symbols, and finally, if in any case there are aqueous state, you have learned to write the ionic equation. This last part, step 4, is seldom tested. Okay, so what else are you left with to hand in worksheet 3? If you have any questions, please raise your hand and ask the teacher. So good job for completing chapter 7, writing chemical equations. The most important would be to write the word equation and to be able to balance chemical equations.